self-awareness or emotional intelligence is more important than IQ. They've done studies to find what's more important for someone being successful, whether it be in business or having great relationships or anything in life, success. The number one thing was emotional intelligence was much, much more important than IQ or how good, how well you would do it at school or finishing a puzzle or problem solving. Here are some other reasons why self-awareness is just critically important. Number one, you become more mindful of what is happening to you and inside of you rather than letting it consume you and overwhelm you. I mean, I see this constantly today with people emotionally. Rather than being aware of, for instance, if somebody says something negative to you, what you tend to do is try and punch back. This could be on social media, metaphorically, or it could be in person, but we tend to hit back with our words. If you're emotionally intelligent, and by the way, a group of people that were incredibly emotionally intelligent are the mystics, whether that be in Christianity or Judaism or Buddhism. We see mystics like Gandhi or like Saint Francis of Assisi or people throughout history where these people, they're very, very self-aware. You could do almost anything to them and they're emotionally unchanged unless they choose to be. Right. And so we even see Jesus, for instance, Jesus being emotionally unmoved unless he really wanted to be, such as flipping over the tables of the tax collector with his passionate, plea, and along with weeping, when Lazarus died. And so all that being said, we know that emotional intelligence is very important, but because it allows us to better control our emotions. And again, emotions should never control us. They should make us more aware of what's going on with us internally. Another reason why self-awareness is important is it allows you to recognize weakness, including your own weaknesses and the weaknesses of others so you can better meet those needs of those people. It can make positive changes. And so if you're self-aware, you become aware of opportunities in life or threats that allow you to change for the better in the future. Self-awareness, of course, is key to building strong relationships. Now, I will say, generally speaking, women tend to be slightly more emotionally intelligent in certain ways than men and in other ways not than men. For instance, women are more keen on having empathy and compassion for others. That's a form of emotional intelligence, but also oftentimes have a harder time controlling those emotions. And so we see both in men and women, there's a difference in the type of emotional intelligence that the feminine has versus the masculine. But either way, it's incredibly important. So for instance, if Chelsea is having a bad day and I'm unaware of that, that's a big deal. I'm not aware. Okay. And versus if I'm aware, I know how to meet the needs and how I can best serve her and love her and make her day better. Right. And same thing for myself. If I'm having a bad day and I don't realize that I'm struggling with something like some sort of frustration and I'm not aware of it, then I may lash out at her or at others at work. And so versus I realize, you know what, I'm really frustrated today. That means I need to go and pray and meditate and go on a walk and maybe even share that with Chelsea or a close friend. And so it's really important that we understand that awareness is one of those key elements along with trust at building relationships. It reduces stress. When you are self-aware and have emotional intelligence, just stress starts to fade away. When you look at, as I mentioned, the people that are most self-aware, it tends to be the spiritual mystics. Think about certain pastors or priests or rabbis that you might know, or monks. There is a level of serenity, a level of stress being gone to where you could do something harmful to them or the world could be crashing down and they're not running around scrambling. They are walking with this level of peace and wisdom and self-awareness that most of us have not cultivated even close to what they have. And so it is stress reducing and increases your lifespan. Big health benefit there. Also, you become a better leader when you are more self-aware, because here's what self-awareness is in part. A lot of us spend time goal setting and we say, I want to go here. Here's my dreams. Here's my vision. Here's my goals. Here's a finish line. I'm going after it. So most people know where they want to go. Most people don't know where they are currently. And it's very hard to get where you want to go when you don't know where you currently are. That's so, so important for growth. So if you're a person saying, I want to grow in business, I want to grow in my relationships, I want to grow my character, I want to grow as a leader, you cannot grow to your maximum if you don't know where you currently are. You'll get lost along the way because you'll think wrongly about yourself. You might think, oh, I'm very compassionate when you're not, or you're very wise, or you may think you've got a vice under control and addiction, but you don't. So you need to know where you are. You need to be self-aware in order to grow as a leader. Now, here's the big problem. 90%, this is according to a study, 90% of people believe that they are self-aware. In actuality, only 10 to 15% of people actually are. Think about that. This is one of the most skewed things I've ever heard. 90% of people believe that they are self-aware. They know what's going on inside of them, their emotions, and they know their strengths, they know their weaknesses. Yet only about 10% of people are actually self-aware. And I'd ask you the question, are you self-aware? Do you know the emotions, and you're aware of them every day, those emotions that are cropping up in you, controlling you? Are you aware of why you have the need to be a people pleaser? Are you aware of why you have an achievement mentality where it's never enough? You're just trying to achieve. You know, like for instance, if you're a people pleaser, is it because you didn't receive enough approval growing up from your parents or coaches or teachers? So now you spent your entire life seeking for that paternal improvement from other people, right? So there's an instance is, are you aware of that thing that happened in your childhood, that event that happened sometime in your life, that trauma? And that's why it drives almost every single action you have, almost every sort of emotional imbalance, every addiction, because of this thing that happened. That's what I'm talking about. And if you're not aware of those things and then not working on them, then you are completely unaware. Hey, if you liked this, then watch my full episode right here.